I'm Andrew Davis. I attend the Grace Orlando campus, and I'm here to talk about wow-making excellence. I was living in Portland, Oregon. I was in a church that I enjoyed going to. I told a friend of mine that I would never leave Portland. I was sure that I was going to live there for the rest of my life, and that's where God had me. And about 3 weeks later, my cousin sent me a text and said, "You've got to meet my roommate." And I said, "In Orlando?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "No way, I would never even think about moving to Orlando." And 8 months later, I was flying across the country, getting ready to marry Isabel. We met and I fell in love with her, and it made more sense for me to move here. And we got engaged and got married in 6 months. We were in our first year of marriage, and we were just kind of floundering, and we knew we wanted to find a church that we both loved and felt like we could contribute and serve at. And a friend recommended Grace. I was so impressed when I walked in, from the way that the kids area was set up to the donuts and the coffee, the branding. It was all so well done, and that really struck me. And then of course we heard Mike preach, and we both really enjoyed the message. We loved the worship. And then afterwards, Mike came up to both of us and just engaged us personally and wanted to hang out with us, and we were just in. Grace has been so impactful for me in so many different ways. A few years ago, I found myself in a really tough spot personally, and one of the ways that I sort of coped with that was alcohol. That was having obviously a really negative impact on me, but also a really negative impact on my marriage and my wife. And one of the things I've heard Mike and the pastor say over and over again at Grace, if you want to stop sinning, you don't focus on stopping that thing, you focus on pursuing Jesus. And I heard that a lot, but I'm kind of stubborn, so it took me a long time to internalize that. But once I did, and I realized that it wasn't just about following a rule, but it was about being called into something greater and experiencing the fullness of God, that was what was really compelling for me to cut that off and step out of that addiction. And it's just had an amazing impact on me, on my marriage, on every single part of my life. That's what makes Grace really special, is with the staff and the volunteers. They're always pushing to be better and make things excellent. God's excellent and God is glorious, and so to continually push and pursue for excellence and to do that like Grace has done, I think really points people to just the greatness and the glory of God. This is really about getting people to take their next step toward Christ. And when that's done in such a thoughtful and just brilliant way, I think it's so appealing. We're just drawn to that. We're drawn to beauty. We're drawn to excellence. It's why we stare at beautiful paintings and look at amazing architecture. And when it happens in the church, it's unbelievable, and it's so rare. There's so many things in every single aspect that are so well thought out for guests, for volunteers, to just have this amazing experience. I think wow-making excellence is just an incredible way that Grace loves people well.